Hi there, summoners. GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. And I've got pulled up here the next new hero banner for July? Yeah, July 2023. I've got the trailer pulled up here, has not been spoiled for me, so we're just going to watch it raw and react to the reveals as they hit us one at a time. So let's wait for the text to leave. Okay, who we got here? New heroes join the battle. Yeah? And it is going to be engaged. Okay, there we go. Rising power. So we got Diamant here making his debut. Infantry sword unit. Very popular character. Great design. Oh, that scroll. Oh, that scroll. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, that didn't look right. Alright, so it's been 3,000 years. We are finally getting a new hero engage banner. So that's nice, and they're coming out with some heavy hitters, because Diamant is extremely popular, so I definitely would have expected him to have, okay, alright, carry Noble as well. So again, I think they are, I don't know how popular Citrenne is, I think she's pretty popular. So Infantry Green Tome Unit, Special Spiral 4, Attack Res Oath 4, Tome of Luxuries, okay. Alright. I like that attack animation. Oh, Rearmed Heroes. I see. So we did get 2 Ascendeds in a row, I think. So this is Rearmed now. Oh, okay. Tender Archer. So Alcryst, another very popular engaged character. I think the slight disappointment that you hear is that he's relegated to a Rearmed hero, which is what we saw with Alfred as well, which I don't think was a most popular decision that they've done. What? Wait. Whoa, they're doing double Rearmed? Hand of Nothing?
Everything is strange.
Okay.
Remembered dream.
Oh, okay, wait. So we're getting Eitr as well. Arcane... Wait, so a double Rearmed banner? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, so that definitely boosts the value of this banner quite a bit. Eitr looks great. New story chapter, The Innocent. Hey, Golveg. So that is going to... Anybody else? Who else? Aha! I spy a male Alear up there. So we are definitely getting male Alear, and he is most likely going to be a free unit in the game that we can just get through the event. So that's actually kind of par for the course. Like, I'm not very surprised by that move at all. That also means that we're not getting a 4-star focus unit, although maybe at the end of the trailer, I was just about to say, we're probably going to get a hero that just drops into the non-focus 3 and 4-star pool. So that is going to be Lapis, which I guess makes a lot of sense, all things considered. And up to 2 times a focus hero from the event. So we're going to get 2 sparks. Everybody will get 2 sparks. So they did double up on the Rearmed heroes, but they are also doubling up on the sparks. So you can actually get both of the Rearmed heroes here on this new hero banner just by going to the 40th pull if the luck is and RNG is not on your side. So it looks like we finally have a little bit of redemption here. We have our second Engage banner in what seems like forever since Engage has come out, which seems like forever ago. So yes, I think they were very selective in the characters that they chose here. Very popular picks. They did a poll for Engage, I want to say like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, something like that. Yeah, so I'm just looking at the popularity poll breakdown in Nintendo Dream's 2023 issue. So shout outs to Serene's Forest, of course, for compiling and posting all of this. But yeah, I mean, so we got Diamant as number 2. We've got Alcryst as number 4. So way up there. Lapis is actually at number 13. And Citrenne actually is not even in the top 25. So I guess I was wrong about that. But nonetheless, art-wise, I think they all look really good, actually, I would say, including the kind of dark horse here, which is Eitr, who just kind of out of left field. I mean, she kind of took the 4-star focus Lapis basically out of this banner, more or less. She replaced Lapis, and Lapis is just dropping into the regular pool, which is what they do whenever this happens, which is, I think, totally fine. She's just going to be in the regular pool as a 3- and 4-star hero, so really no great loss, and it also increases the value with the double spark, with having both Eitr and Alcryst here. So we are going to have a rearmed bow, and we're also going to have a rearmed beast weapon. Alright, so if I'm being perfectly honest, I actually feel kind of terrible right now. I'm recovering from an illness, and I don't want to make excuses or anything, but I'm not really up for going quite as long or as late as I usually do. So I'm going to try to speed through these kits to give more of a general overview of their game plan and kind of what I think about them. I apologize in advance if some of what I'm saying doesn't make a ton of sense, so sorry. So we got Diamant here, and as far as this weapon is concerned, it's an interesting combination of killer slaying effect, you got stat boost, damage reduction built in there, you have the negation of the enemy's guaranteed follow-up attacks, in addition to, you have special cooldown count -1 at the beginning of the turn, so you get an insta-charge at the beginning, with Bonfire. And then, of course, you also get some healing at the very, very end as well, which is quite nice, and the ability to negate things that would guard against him to prevent him from gaining special charge. Now, his gimmick is a very odd one, so it's preventing an enemy's follow-up attacks, or let me say, negates the enemy's skills that guarantee follow-up attacks, and then increases the speed check requirement to 25 versus 5. So that means that the enemy would need to have 25 speed over him in order to double him. I guess from my perspective, I just don't entirely see what the point is, because I feel like we've gotten a lot of units out there that have negated and neutralized guaranteed follow-up attacks and also prevented follow-up attacks. So it wouldn't be like uncharted territory or anything just to give that to him. Maybe they thought it would be busted with everything else that he has, which could very well be. I haven't really thought that through, but yeah, that is sort of his new thing. That's the new thing that he's bringing, is that whole like that increased speed check is very unique. It's very unique. So that's fun, and then you got Bulwark to increase his his tankiness effectively, and the ability to move past him. Attack Defense Finish 4 is going to be great for any sort of a bulky infantry melee unit, and then Times Pulse 4 as well. So that, in combination with his weapon, means he's gonna have an insta charge to Bonfire at the outset. Which, if he is going to be defense focused, that means he's going to hit super hard. So nice kid. Now, Citrenne is very, very interesting too. So she has her own pretty unique gimmick in being almost like a pseudo-support, in that whatever boosts that she actually has are bonuses to herself, including stat boosts, so including rallies and things like that to her own stat line. As long as she has a certain HP threshold, she'll actually grant those bonuses to allies within 2 spaces of her for 1 turn. So she basically shares the wealth. Any bonuses that are on her, she spreads it around to everybody else around her. Now, the exception of that is being those skills that would grant additional mobility, so 1 additional movement tile, as well as Pathfinder. So she can't share those specific abilities, but everything else is fair game. She also enjoys some stat boosts, some fixed damage as well built in there, and then Special Spiral 4, in addition to the killer slaying effect of Tome of Luxuries, will ensure that she has an insta-charge to Iceberg on turn 1, which is quite nice, and she's probably going to have some sizable res considering the stat line or the skills that she has here, the kit overall. So Rearmed Alcryst is an interesting one, because you have to evaluate his bow in the context of it being inheritable, right, and the value that provides to other units out there. So the interesting thing about Arcane Darkbow, I would say, is the purity of it, because effectively it has a killer slaying effect, right? And then as long as he has a certain HP threshold, he just gets an offensive stat boost to attack and speed, and then effectively just gets a penalty neutralization. All penalties that are on him are just gone, and anything that would prevent him from doing follow-up attacks, also gone. And then if he's going to be attacking into somebody, he gets a desperation built in there. So it's kind of interesting, because there's not like, it's not a huge wall of text, but everything that he does kind of negates any like penalty and any debuff or anything that would prevent him from doing what he wants to do, which means initiating on somebody, doing a boatload of damage, attacking twice, and having a stat boost on him. And all that stuff is going to do quite well, especially when paired with Flash Sparrow, which is a new A-slot skill. And what that effectively does is it gives him an attack and speed boost, as well as a flashing blade effect. So it's going to increase his ability to get his special charge. He has a killer slaying effect on his bow. Paired together means he's going to be able to get that Deadeye on the initiation. He's going to be able to double with his naturally speedy self and naturally speedy stat line. And then furthermore, you know, they're not going to be able to neutralize his ability to follow up attack. Get Behind Me is going to be his own unique B slot skill. And what that does, it's a super easy condition. It's one of those where, as long as he's player facing or has an ally within 2 spaces, very, very easy to meet. One of the loosest conditions. Speed defense debuff on the enemy, which is going to help with Flash Sparrow and everything else that he wants to do. Increases damage, increases doubling capability. It's actually going to inflict a penalty on the enemy in combat, reduction of their defense as 30% of their defense stat at the beginning of combat, and also any guard effect that they would have on him, which would prevent him from and any guard effect that the enemy would have that would prevent Alcryst from proccing Deadeye is going to be neutralized. So it's very interesting because he has a very streamlined kit, and then defense res smoke 3, which is also that's fine for him. I think that's kind of a flex slot. He could do a lot of things with the C slot aside from having that smoke skill, but it is just access to that smoke skill. So I think what is most impressive about Alchryst's kit is that it's very streamlined. He is going to be a Deadeye proccing machine, and there's not going to be much that's going to be able to stop him because he's going to be able to effectively neutralize a lot of the BS that's out there that would prevent him from accomplishing what he wants to do, which is initiate on you, double on you, double with impunity, so he doesn't get interrupted with desperation, and also getting a bunch of stat boost, a bunch of debuffs on the enemy, defense debuff on the enemy, and proccing Deadeye and doing a ton of damage. That's basically what he wants to do, and it's going to be very, very difficult to stop him from doing it. So yeah, it's definitely a cohesive kit. Alright, so similar with Alcryst Eitr, we have to evaluate her weapon in that it is inheritable on other Blue Beast unit. Blue Beast unit, or is it all Beast units? I think it's just Blue Beast units. But anyway, regardless, it has a killer... There's a lot of stuff baked in here. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife type approach with her weapon. You know, it's got a killer slang effect, it's got a debuff on the enemy as well as a buff on her. And it's also going to have some fixed damage as well built in there that scales off of her speed. There's also going to be a speed check that would negate the enemy's guaranteed follow-up attack skills, and also the enemy's skills that would prevent her follow-up attacks. And if she's going to be speedy, that's just going to mean that she's more likely to naturally double. And then sort of the unique thing that she brings is that if she transforms, she's actually going to have a sort of a clash effect built into her weapon. So she's going to have a debuff on the enemy's attack and defense, and depending on the number of tiles that she moves, she's also going to have damage reduction built in to the first attack that she sustains. So that is the Rearmed Beast weapon. I mean, when we compare it to Alchryst's weapon, the bow, I mean, for Alcryst, you could probably slap that bow into almost any archer and it'd do pretty darn well. For Eitr and her weapon, it's a little bit more specialized. It's going to shine on a beast unit that not only has pretty high speed, but probably cavalry as well, just because it has that clash component to it. It's not necessary or anything. It just so happens that cavalry tend to travel the most tiles, so it makes it easier for that condition to be met. But generally speaking, just a speedy beast unit is going to be able to take advantage. Now, Eitr is also going to come with her own unique A-slot skill, and so with this one, it's a pretty unique Power of Nihility. So as long as allies adjacent to unit is less than or equal to 1, so it also works if there's no allies next to her, which as a cavalry unit, obviously they do have a tendency to kind of speed ahead, overextend, and be away from their allies, so that does work in her favor. If that happens, +9 to all stats, just out of the gate, and then special cooldown charge +1 to a unit per attack during combat. Those two things are busted. I mean, those two things are pretty amazing to have just built into into an A-slot skill when the unit is effectively doing stuff that, you know, they just would ordinarily do in combat, right? So that is certainly going to help her charge her special, and when it is charged, she actually does get some healing when her special procs based upon this A-slot skill. Now, Beast Sense 4 for the B slot, another B slot skill that removes the condition to transform, which is fun, fun, I guess. But effectively, it's a lot of like speed debuffs on the enemy, defense debuffs on the enemy, and then there is a speed check, but there's also a phantom speed part built into Beast Sense, which does of course synergize with her weapon that also has a speed check. So it does work out in her favor, and then effectively it does provide some damage reduction built in. The mere fact that it removes the condition to transform is always going to make it a primo slot skill for a beast unit. So the rest of it, of course, caters to a speedy beast unit, which Eitr obviously is. So that's kind of the new stuff that Eitr brings to the table there. Art is really beautiful for Eitr. I think Kipu, one of the best showings for Kipu in the game, in my personal opinion. But then, again, Alcryst, I think there's some beauty in the purity that Alcryst brings. I'm actually pretty impressed with how cohesive and powerful of a kit Alcryst has, without there being, like, so many convoluted embellishments, right? I think that's something that the game often kind of is hamstrung by these days, just having so much crap thrown on a unit. And I think Alchryst's weapon and kit overall just kind of, like, does away with a lot of it. It makes him very, very effective as a result, because he kind of cuts through that. Eitr, I think they're both strong. I mean, they're both going to be good. This banner is full of value just because it has 2 rearmed heroes, double spark capable. I would say that Diamant is also quite strong in being sort of a traditionally tanky infantry unit. He does have that gimmick with the whole speed thing. He has the bulwark. He's going to be tanky. He's going to do his job, and he's got a lot of good effects built into his weapon too. He's gonna be quite strong. Citrenne is pretty unique in what she does, in that she does bestow those boosts on her allies, which I think is it kind of sets her apart and makes her more of a support unit in a lot of ways. She's also going to hit very, very hard. She has the insta-charge capability too, so that does mean that at first blush, she's going to have an insta-charge warrior special. So yeah, overall, I think this is a solid banner for sure, notwithstanding the fact that Alcryst is going to be a rearmed hero, which I'm not sure how people are going to take or how the people feel about it. I know there was certainly some strong feelings about Alfred and him being a rearmed hero without... The whole thing about rearmed heroes is that they're supposed to kind of be like alts of the original versions of heroes, but special versions of them, and it really hasn't kind of turned out to be the case in the instance of the engage heroes. So it's I think I could definitely relate and understand why there would be misgivings about that. It's totally understandable, especially for such popular heroes as Alcryst and Alfred. So yeah, I mean, but that does seem like the road that we're on at this point, and I would not be surprised if future engage banners are going to have a rearmed hero at the outset, because that just kind of seems like the path that we're on at this point. But let me know in the comments below what you think about our second engage banner, the selection on the engage banner, the characters themselves, 2 rearmed heroes, double spark. What do you think about this? Eitr just kind of like shoehorning her way into the banner. So once again, I do apologize for being kind of quick and dirty with the analysis and not going through every detail and kind of reading through. Again, I feel awful, but sorry. But hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.